Sacred Souls, it's Susanna from Alamanic Shaman. What I have here for us tonight is a healing, the core wound, and a lot of that has to do with betrayal, but it's not just limited to that. But in my opinion, that is sort of the core of the core wound in a sense, if that makes any sense. So what I have here for us tonight is, first of all, a whole bunch of wood that is all, it looks torn up and is all crooked. So that shall represent everything crooked, unhealed, manipulative, dishonest, lying, cheating, betrayal, any kind of abuse, maltreatment, anything that is not honest, that is not direct, that is not done with integrity or with dignity. So anything that is basically part of the dark shall be represented by this crooked, torn up, shredded kind of, wood. Then I have another piece of wood here that kind of made me think of a walking stick. So like if you're walking with a cane, you're not in great shape, right? Like you're not doing so well. You're somewhat limited, handicapped. Like your motion isn't what it could be. So that's like all of the suffering being sort of beaten down, more in the figurative sense, but just kind of like the spirit beaten down, the emotions, and just not functioning at our best. And then here, this actually kind of, this piece of wood made me think of something that looks like a core, like the center of something, right? So that's why I want to use this for our core healing. Oh, looks like there's a rock right stuck in there, a bunch of small pebbles. I don't know if that's significant, that the core of the core is a stone, a cold stone. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so that shall be our core wound and shall be used for our core healing. So the fire shall transmute it and heal it, right? It's also heart healing, because like the heart is the core of us as humans, and it's the core, like it's the core of our feeling center. But I think we're shifting away from a brain-based and logic-based society and more moving into the heart space, right? Because that's where a lot of the healing takes place. And if we act from the heart, then we don't really hurt people around us as we would if we're just coming from the brain. So yeah, that, in my opinion, is sort of the future of humanity, or at least the future that I want to see for humanity, where we live a communal life in cooperation and harmony and peace, rather than what we currently have in mainstream society, where the matrix is all about like survival of the fittest and everyone looking out for themselves and so on, right? Anyway, let's get this healing going. The fire is going beautifully, see? Okay, so let me call in our spirit guides. Dear Creator, higher power, source, and soul energy, our higher selves, our higher spirit guides of the light, and our ancestors that are in the light, as well as Great Spirit of the fire. Please help us heal from anything that is crooked, dishonest, lying, manipulative, any kind of abuse, maltreatment, any kind of toxic, dysfunctional behavior that was part of our family pattern, that was part of our lives, and help us heal our core wound, and help us regain our strength by burning this cane that shall also represent all the hardship and how beaten down our spirit was. Now with this core wound, I forgot to mention earlier, the last few days I've been guided towards healing from betrayal, and that can actually mean many things. A lot of videos only talk about betrayal in a relationship, like if someone is cheating. But this can also be betrayal of a parent who abandons their child. It can be betrayal of being backstabbed, betrayal of someone who's supposed to be in your corner and doesn't have your back, betrayal of a parent who is supposed to love you unconditionally and doesn't, who put all these different conditions on you and considered you only lovable if you acted a certain way. It could also be betrayal of, let's say, a family member stealing your identity to commit a crime, or it could be to commit, let's say, fraud. Well, that's a crime too. Or let's say that a family member cheated you out of your inheritance or part of it. Any of those kind of situations are betrayal, right? And I'm sure there are lots of other examples too. Those are just the ones that kind of came to me. Some of them within my family or my experience or what I've observed or what a friend shared with me, right? So, yeah, so all of that shall be healed with this core healing. And please help us move into a space of forgiving ourselves for not listening to our gut feeling when we believed the words and not the actions of people around us who then betrayed us, or where we ignored the signs and made excuses for them. And also help us get to a point of true understanding, compassion, and then forgiveness towards those that have wronged us, because they're clearly coming from a place of extreme toxicity, which is being extremely unhealed, having a huge core wound. So they also need this kind of healing, right? But if they're not in a place where they're ready for that, at least help us get to a place where we understand where they are at and forgive them from that point of view. It doesn't mean that we want them necessarily back in our lives, because the pattern might continue. Even if we change our behavior, if they still do the same things to us, then we may not want to be around that, right? Plain and simple. All right, so let's get started by putting all this toxic, crooked, dishonest, manipulative stuff in the fire. Great Spirit of the fire, please burn away and transmute anything that is dishonest, that is lacking integrity, that is lacking pure, unconditional love, that is lacking integrity, that is lacking dignity, and so on. Please burn away and transmute anything toxic, anything crooked, evil, dark, low vibrational, anything dishonest, lying, cheating, manipulative, anything self-serving, anything coming from the ego, and only looking out for number one in quotation marks. Thank you. Miigwech, Dankeschön, all my relations. And let's continue with the cane that shall symbolize how our spirit and our emotions and just how we were sort of defeated in a sense, how our spirit was beaten down. Sorry, let me just get out of this smoky area here. And help us heal from all the stuff that kept us down, that kept us as the underdog, so to speak. And let us get to the core. Please. Oh, let me go the other way. Whew. Whoa, this is burning real good now. Help us heal our core wound. Help us heal from the betrayal wound and any and all other hurt, pain, and suffering and wounding in our core, in our center, in our heart, in our body, mind, spirit, soul, and energy field. And especially I want to focus a little bit more on the 3 bottom chakras, since they have to do with survival and creativity, which often gets stifled and, well, quote unquote, like in quotation marks, sort of killed by like being beaten down, beaten down more. I'm thinking more in the figurative sense, but it could also be literal. Being put down, being made small, basically just having the spirit sort of destroyed. And then, of course, our personal energy center, right? So the root chakra, the sacral chakra, and the solar plexus need a lot of healing in that, like, to help us heal our core wound. But then also let all the other chakras be healed as well. Of course, like the heart chakra, big time. Our throat chakra, because a lot of times we were silenced and couldn't speak our truth. Our rights were trampled on. Then our third eye, to help us be more intuitive again and listen to that gut feeling, to our instinct that told us all along, even when the betrayals were happening, and a lot of times we suppressed it and didn't listen to it, or like justified and excused what was happening, or like explain it away with logic and so on, right? Like the thing that basically society has taught many of us. And our crown chakra, to open up even more to the spirit world and to help bring us into oneness and, you know, be in the flow with source energy and to have more access to that higher wisdom and knowledge that enriches our lives. And while I was talking, I already felt the energies become more peaceful. It actually feels very good now. Oh, and interesting. The cane was lying sort of horizontally, and now it's vertical in the fire. That's very interesting. It might have happened when I put the core in, but somehow that looks a little different now too. So really interesting. I've observed so many supernatural things where suddenly something is in a different place or moves, or, you know, like if it's dark interference, let's say suddenly something doesn't work anymore, and then 2 weeks later it works again. Just, there's a lot of stuff, but like the positive side of it is like the wonder and awe and miracles that can really happen, right? So once this is burnt a little more, I can finish putting the rest in. Actually, I'll push it over a little more now so that all of this... Oh, wow. And look, the shape of this kind of looks a bit like a skeleton of a dragon. And I'm thinking in this case like a dark dragon, and also like a snake. So, whew. Oh, sorry, I gotta escape the smoke again. Whew. Somehow I feel also like the last few weeks the fire has been a lot smokier than before. And sometimes the wood was really dry, so there wouldn't really be any reason for it, except that I'm feeling that since the smoke kept like burning my eyes and stuffing up my nose, that it's the dark that is still in many of our lives, at least to some extent, because it can attach for as long as we still have wounds. It's like trying to stop, like to numb the senses and to stop us from like seeing and sensing, like with a nose, like basically smelling when something is wrong in a sense, right? Sort of the more figurative sense of smell. Anyway, this is burning away beautifully. I will probably finish this video before it's all completely burnt, just because this might take a while. But oh, and look at that, and there's it's starting again with the ice. There's a dark feather. Let's throw the dark feather in there as well, to burn away anything that is still dark, anything that's sort of from fallen angels. Whew. Wow, the energy feels so much more peaceful now. Wow, it feels really good. It feels lighter. It's like that heaviness, that darkness is gone. It's like transmuted. Wow. Whew. All right. Let us be flooded with massive amounts of, and by flooded I mean filled and surrounded, with massive amounts of healing light, unconditional love, blessings and protections, and an abundance in all areas of our lives. And let us be surrounded by a 12D shield with golden light that keeps us super safe and protected. And we shall be surrounded by all of our spirit team working extra hard to keep us safe, shielded, and protected. And so it is. All my relations and all of our relations. Whew. Wow, that felt good. Okay, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I'm also sending you lots of love and light. And be well until next time. Bye.